Hi guys, welcome to section 5.3. Today we're looking at an Olympic-sized swimming pool. They're pretty cool if you've ever seen one. They're just pretty large. So we're going to go through, again, you don't need the warm-up. Most of the section I'm going to walk you through. There's just a few questions where you're going to be answering them on your own. So the first little bit, we are going to be looking at a diagram of an Olympic-sized pool. And they tell you that the swimming pools are 50 meters long and 25 meters wide, okay? A space of 2.5 meters is left on each side. So this is 2.5 and this is 2.5. And the rest of the pool is divided into 8 different lanes. Write the length and the width of the pool on the diagram. We already did. What is the perimeter of the Olympic-sized pool? So 50 plus 25 plus 50 plus 25, you should get 150. I will let you guys fill that in on your own. Okay. So the length of each lane of an Olympic pool is 50 meters. Okay, so every lane, if you're swimming back and forth, each lane is 50 meters. So if someone hops in the pool and swims the length, they have swam 50 meters. Now, if they swim 3 lengths, there, back, and there again, 50, 100, and 150. Okay, you could also write that as a ratio, right? If 1 to 50 is our ratio, how many times is 3? Okay, and you'd fill it in. Well, if I multiply 1 by 3 to get to 3, then 50 times 3 to get to 150. So that's how we get here. How many lengths would someone have to swim for a distance of 350? So if we look at 50, what do we multiply 50 by to get to 350? You can play around with your calculator for a while. Hopefully you get the answer 7. So if I take 50 times 7, I get 350. And if I take 1 and I times it by 7, 1 times 7, I should get 7. That means you would need 7 lengths to get 350 meters. In 1968, the longest women's swimming event was 800 meters. How many lengths of the pool is 800 meters? So take a look. They've already got the ratio set up. If one length is 50, how many lengths are 800? What do we do to 50 to get it to equal 800? Play around with your calculator. You should get 16. So if I times these by 16, I've got to multiply this guy by 16. So 1 times 16 is 16. That means you need 16 lengths to make up the 800 meters. All right, moving down to part 3, we're going to go back to our pool that we were looking at. Calculate the width of each lane in an Olympic pool. That's what our goal is down here. So how wide is the space in the pool that is not used for the 8 lanes? They're looking for this little gray area. They told us it was 2.5. Okay. So we know that it is 2.5 on one side and 2.5 on the other side. Take a second, add that up, and get the total. You should have gotten 5. Okay. And I just see this bubble here just to refresh it. We knew that the width was 25, and we knew that the length, oh, I know the width of the space at the left side is 2.5. Okay, so they reached 2.5. How wide is the part of the pool used for the 8 lanes? So if I have my pool that is 25 meters, 2.5 meters is here and 2.5 meters is here, 25 meters minus the 5, I should be left with, and you can plug this in, you should be left with 20 meters. So we're going to use this information and equivalent rates to figure out how wide each lane is. So 8 lanes we know would be 20 meters, and we need to know how much one lane is. So what do we do to 8 to get to 1? Okay, well, if I go from 1 to 8, I multiply by 8. So some number multiplied by 8 will give me 20. If you need to figure out what this is, you could actually divide by 8. You should get 2.5. So 2.5 times 8 does give you 20. Okay, you could have played around on your calculator there to get it. All right, this is where your work is going to start to come in. I'm going to guide you a little bit for the first few, and then you're going to finish the rest on your own. So using this grid, you're going to have to draw a scale diagram. They tell you that each square is 1 centimeter, and 1 centimeter represents 5 meters. So we have a scale of 1 centimeter to 5 meters. So 1 square measures 1 centimeter, okay? It is a centimeter grid. The scale is this. This means that 1 square represents 5 meters. If our pool is 50 centimeters long, how many squares do you think you're going to need? Well, look at our ratios. What do you do to 5 to get to 50? We times it by 10. So that means I'm going to take 1 and multiply it by 10. 1 times 10, you get another 10. So 10 centimeters should give you 50 meters of your pool. That means you're going to need 10 squares. Our pool is 25 meters wide, so the length was 50. The width is only 25. How many squares do you think you're going to need? Well, if I needed 10 squares for 50, you can set up your ratio. I'm going to cheat a little bit. You should get 5. Okay, so play around, make sure you are getting 5. And this is where your work comes in. You are to draw a scale diagram of the perimeter of your pool. So how many squares would you need and how many squares would you need? Draw in the outline of your pool. Please now look at F. I'll do F with you, and then you can, so do E on your own. I'll do F with you, and then you do GH on your own. So one side of 1 square represents 5 meters. Okay, so that's 5 meters. What fraction of a square is 2.5? Well, 2.5 plus 2.5 is 5, so this is half. Okay, so your fraction is a half, because remember we had those lanes that are 2.5 meters, so we're only gonna, each lane is about half of a square. So your job now is to draw the lines on your pool that would represent each of the 8 lanes, okay? I would also now like you to do question 5 on your own. All right, and then for question 6, again, you can use your ratio to figure out how many meters. She's done 20 lengths. She's in an Olympic-sized pool. If one length is 50 meters, you can figure out how many lengths she did here, right? So 1 times 50 is 50, so 20 times 50 should give you your answer, okay? So make sure you're filling this in. Part B, you're figuring out the total amount that she makes. So Sue is getting sponsored. She's trying to raise some money for charities. So someone is going, Reese sponsored her 2 cents for every meter. Now, this is the cent column. You need to write and convert these into the dollar amount. Okay, so remember 2 cents is 0.02. Figure out how many meters she swam, right? That's your answer from up here. You're going to multiply them to get your answer in the last column. Do that for all of these and then figure out your total. Okay? Good luck, and we'll see you in the next section.